Hey everybody, it's Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Today is Tuesday, January the 18th. My goodness, January's almost gone. And you're here live with Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. You know, I just got back from NRF, the big show in Jacob Javits Center, and some of you might still be there. But wherever you're joining me around the world, I would appreciate you just putting into comments, where are you joining me from in the world? Because we have people across all kinds of continents who follow me, and I appreciate you being here. Usually takes a little bit of time before it jumps in and you start seeing it. But so many people have talked to me about, well, what'd you see at NRF? You know what I saw is there's all kinds of ways to move merchandise around in distribution centers with all kinds of robots that have Wi-Fi and all kinds of capability. There's all kinds of ways to attract shoppers with all kinds of digital ads and all kinds of things. We can track shoppers like never before and where they are in the hot zones and all of those kind of things. We can automate pretty much everything in the store, so you don't really have to do as much. We can sell the merch back to the vendors now so that they can get credit and have a circular economy. We can ship direct to our distribution centers and vice versa and find all of those logistics. But there's really not much actually about selling the merchandise in the store. And that always makes me scratch my head because 80% of what you sell is available from some competitor, whether they're online or down the way. And unless a sale is made, you are probably not going to be in business. So I wanted to talk today about the fallacy of training people on the floor, whether in line, online, in person, or however that is. So we'll get to that in just a second. Where'd you join me? Hey, John, glad you're here this morning. Hey, Fahad, glad you're here. Simon, all the way from London, UK, late for you today. And I know we have people, if you're on Facebook, you know, the avatar is the little love. And if you're in LinkedIn, give me some applause because the algorithms only show this to people who are engaged. So wherever you are, I want to make sure that you are joining me. Joanne from Sarasota, I think you're on vacation today, so that's great. I'll answer any questions you have about training in a minute, but I just wanted to share with you what I am talking an awful lot with my clients about is that retail for so many generations have been, we hire people and it's like we put them out on a baseball field and we say, you have to win the game. And we don't really give them much training there. And so a few people have played the game and they're like, well, you go over there and you go over there and you hold the bat and here we go. And they try to figure it out, right? Or we hire people who played the game before. Oh, great, they'll know. But the problem is that nobody really said how it should look or what it should be. And before I forget, the game of retail is to get a customer to say, yes, that's the game you're playing. And now we've gone through and added omnichannel capabilities so that it's about while you're there, I want you to also go and take orders from the refreshment stand and ship it to people. And customers are noticing that they're not being helped or employees. I actually walked into a store the other day and the greeting I got was, any questions? What's the meaning of life? Why are there guacamole dips that are frozen? I don't know. But people have no idea how to play the game. And at the same time, hey, glad you're here, Sherry. At the same time, people are trying to play the game with less. So instead of 9 players on the field, you might have 5. Wouldn't you think that less people need even more training? I certainly would, because a lot of our employees are stuck in the fear of customers, right? Whether it's masks or COVID or any number of things, or let's just be honest, they got rusty after being out of it for a couple of years. And what are you doing to train them? So some people tell me, oh, well, we have an app. We train people. Oh, okay, well, that's good. But how you train and coach is how they're going to play. So an awful lot of people, and I'll stop that. I think I can remove that and just you and me now. A lot of times people say, oh, we train on the sales floor. And I'm like, really? That's not training. What is it? Oh, well, you know, when there's a free moment, we go and train them. Well, that's kind of like having someone is out here in outfield. You're playing the game and you're trying to tell them how to catch the ball better. They're going to be distracted. There's no two ways about it. Or worse, you're going to start and then they're going to stop and try to field a ball and then come back to it like, where were we? Or if it's online, their head's down in the phone and they're watching a video. And by the way, I call that watching a video. Training is different. Training is a focused concentration today I'm going to train you how to do X, Y, and Z. And by the end, you'll know how to do X, Y, and Z. Now let's get to it. It has a focused attention. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has a test for comprehension, and then they have to put it into practice. Now, why do they have to put it into practice? Because 75% of what you learn will be gone in about 6 hours. I know that's scary, right? But the brain has to physically change if the learning is to stick. That means you have to have interactivity. You've got to be able to stop and ask questions. And if not, it goes in one ear and out the other. And that's why so much of what people call training is watching a video. Watching a video in itself is just watching a video. Training is understanding there's a direct result I want. I'm going to take you through exactly what you need to do. It's short so that you'll know in the end, oh, that's what success looks like. And then they can duplicate it. Does that make sense? And so, hey, good morning, Jahan Zaib. I'm terrible with your name. I'm sorry, from Pakistan. Alex Early from Washington. Sherry, again, hello. And Saba, glad you're here. And if you're watching after I've gone live, anytime you ask a question, I can certainly answer it. But I just want you to focus that so many times training programs go awry because we think they're this superhuman who can, worse, watch a video on a phone and be on the floor and trying to listen and be here and then think something is going to happen. And really, all that matters in training is a behavior changes. You know, the best intentions in January 1st, I'm going to lose 5 pounds. I bought the diet book. Is that good enough? No, you have to actually open it. Oh, well, I read it. Great. Did it stop you from picking up the extra donut at work? Well, no. Well, then the behaviors weren't changed and you didn't learn. See, that's what we have to get back to, that people have gone through and been able to change the meaning of the word training to watching a video or, oh, well, anyone can do it. No, training is an art. It's an art and a science. You have to have some skill at it. You've got to be able to keep people engaged, but it's also got to be proven and true and easy to duplicate. Not what somebody said, right? It's not like, oh, well, I like to hold the bat like this. Oh, well, I like to hold the bat. Well, as long as you hold the bat, it works. No, because a lot of times people will say something like, any questions? Because they don't know what else to say. And nobody wants to do a bad job. So when you don't train them, it's kind of the wild west of what the brand looks like. And I'm here to tell you that as the economy gets back to normal, we're certainly expecting that by April, when people start realizing that those child credits that they got are actually going to increase their taxes, that's going to be a little bit of a dent. As we move into May and June, it'll probably slow down a bit as well around the world. And, you know, there's a big question with China locking down so many of their factories. Our supply is going to be harder to get as well. You're going to need to be able to sell whatever you have in store and not say, oh, well, sorry, we're out, because somebody walked in the door, they raised their hand and said, I'm in. They gave you a shot at that sale. If all you can say is, can I help you find something? Let me know if you need any questions. You have a budget. You're probably not going to be able to get them to convert. And why does that matter? Because unless a sale is made, you're not going to be around. Now, there's a false thinking that, oh, if we just get exposure, we just get people to like our brand on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever it's going to be, then that'll pay off. Well, it might pay off. The problem is that a lot of advertisers are finding your customers through social media or through email or through any number of different ways, not just through a billboard or a circular in the paper like it might have been generations ago. And they are constantly being marketed to. So when they actually walk into your store, they're 90% ready to buy. They're not browsing anymore. They did the browsing online. So what's that going to take? It's going to take the great human reconnection. And that starts with you training your employees, not just telling them we value every guest. Oh, what does that mean? Well, just be nice to people. Ask them if you can help them. Be helpful, but don't smother them. We don't want to sell anything. Okay. So what did you pretty much say? What does success look like for that employee? Success looks like, if I'm in Alex's store, which is in Washington, he's a greenhouse. Success looks like someone comes in and is looking for a plant. They're going to walk out with a couple of them. That's what success looks like. And our goal is to find how many ways a customer could say yes to an additional sale by us pointing out the potting soil or the whatever the care is, the drip irrigation, whatever it is, so they get the complete solution from us, because that's where the money is. The money is not the one-off. Here's the thing. We've got to move retail from being a transaction business back to being a relationship business. And that's really easy to say, but the only way it comes is if you go through and understand how does it take to create an exceptional experience, which is why in the next few weeks, we are bringing Sales RX. We want to get 50 new clients by Friday, January the 28th, because I'm going to have 4 live sessions with our a club, as we're calling it, for Sales RX to help you get even more out of it. So if you've got some questions about like, oh, well, we tried training before and it didn't work, I usually go back to, well, what was your commitment to it? Was it a nice to know? Was it something you saw free on the internet, or did you actually pay money and commit to doing it? Because your commitment, whoever's watching this, your commitment to make it work is the number one key that decides how well that training is adopted. So there you go. And if you don't do that, I just ask you, well, then what are you going to do? Right? When people say, oh, well, we don't train our crew. Oh, great. So how's that going for you? Well, we have really high turnover. Yeah, people leave businesses because they don't know what success looks like. People are leaving retail right now because they don't see opportunities. Your goal is to train your employees so that you build a bench and can be great recession proof or great resignation proof, because people like knowing they do the job, they know what success looks like, and they're rewarded for it. How great is that? So it's really being a matter of being brilliant on the basics if you're looking to increase sales in 2022. I hope you'll sign up for Sales RX. You just go to salesrx.com. And it starts at $4.90 a month for up to 5 users, and then you can add users after that. But we train your managers first for about 3 weeks, and then you have a kickoff meeting, and then we go slowly with your crew so that it has time to change those behaviors. And the good thing is that once they start watching one of our interactive videos, they're going to be able to leave that and immediately change the way they greet a customer, immediately change the way they build trust. And you'll start hearing, wow, something's different in your store. And that's ultimately what we want. We don't want anyone to know there's a process, because when you just execute it brilliantly, people think, wow, they're so friendly, but it goes beyond friendly. They're friendly, and the person got everything they could need, not just the one thing they asked for. We got to get out of this idea that warehousing a bunch of product and then people asking for it is what retail is. No, retail is being able to make somebody feel for those few minutes they're the most important person in the world, and then share the joy of purchase. How great is that? Because a lot of times we sell things that we ourselves can't afford, or maybe we could afford it, but it's not really in something that we personally could use. So when someone different than us buys it, that feels great, because someone is hopeful in the world. And that's my final point to you, that people that walk into a retail store are hopeful. They're coming because they're going to get the guy. They want to get the girl. They just got married. They just got divorced. They just moved to the area. They just got a new profession. They got a new job. They got a new baby. Whatever it is, depressed people are not walking into a store at 10 a.m. They're probably at a bar at 10 a.m., but they're coming in because they're hopeful. And the way you meet people with hope is by training your employees what it takes to engage a stranger, discover the shopper, and yes, make the sale. Make no mistake, anything less is just being nice. Anything less is just people watching a video, not training. We have a couple of questions here. Cecile from Massachusetts, not far from me. Hey, Doug, glad that's good. I appreciate it. Julie, is a great opportunity for us to get everything out of those nook and crannies we all have and sell that inventory you couldn't bear to toss. Boy, that's a great point, Julie. That the ideas of, we have to put this on sale because it's not moving. I used to go through and we would at our store meetings once a week, I'd ask them, what's the one thing you hate the most in this store? It doesn't matter what the point was, what it was for. I worked in apparel, so it might be an item. It's like, who's going to be the first one to sell it? First one does get $5. Simple little thing like that. Once the crew is trained, can be a fun game. Unless you have that foundation of how to engage a stranger, discover the shopper, and sell the merchandise, no one's going to take you up on it, because they don't know how to do it, and they think you're stupid, and they've written you off anyway. Because unless you have a foundation of excellence, a culture of learning, a culture of training, and more importantly, a culture of selling the merchandise, you're probably waiting for someone to walk in on that magic day who happens to say, do you have this blue square? Oh, we do. It's right over here. Maybe they didn't come in for a blue square. Maybe what they came in for was a blue pen, and then they saw the blue square. Can you match that enthusiasm and make it interesting? More importantly, can you sell them both? Because that's where the money is. That's where the great brands understand it's not about the one-off purchase. It's about multiple, and then they come back more often. That's the way it happens, Sherry, amen. Glad you got that. Well, I appreciate you staying with me. It's salesrx.com. That's where you find out. And more importantly, we'll have 4 live sessions starting January the 28th on Friday at 11. They're all recorded if you can't make it. But more importantly, you have my training as a partner to you to do even better in 2022. Are you ready to give up those excuses? Like, oh, well, we train everybody on the floor. Good, because I'm asking you to change what you're doing and say that your customers deserve better. And more importantly, your employees do better. And you know what? When you do better with them, you're going to find out that you deserve to do better and you can make money to live the life you want. And that's whether you're at C-level, you're the owner, whatever it is, however big your store is, however big your brand is, make no mistake, you can do this. And I'm your partner because I've been doing this for 30 years. And you know what? I love training. Aren't you lucky? So there you go. With that in mind, I'm going to let you go, and I'll probably see you tomorrow. I'm doing a lot of videos in the next 10 days because we are out to get 50 more people on salesrx.com. We are going to change the world by the people working and shopping in retail. And you can be part of that. Just go to salesrx.com. I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Thanks for joining me today.